All right, just on the way out to Paul's now. Very exciting stuff. I haven't seen the car since it's been painted. So the whole shell is now Speedwell blue, and then the roll cage has gone a gloss black. So I'm going up today. I'm working on it all day today with him, and then all day tomorrow as well. So this is the first time we're actually going to be fitting parts to the car, rather than obviously welding in the roll cage. But this is kind of actually starting to build it proper now, so very excited. We're going to be doing subframes today. I think then kind of starting on sort of some suspension bits, maybe fuel lines, brake lines, that kind of thing. I've got the carbon fiber roof in the boot there to take that out so they can fit that. Extremely exciting, and a big reveal coming right now. And now down to actually building some of the components up. So here I am starting to build up the rear radius arms, which are from CAD. These are sandcast aluminium swing arms, so they save quite a lot of weight. They save 6.5 kilos per pair. So there's going to be lots of these kind of savings across the car, which all just add up to extra speed. So in this clip, I am bolting on the brake pipe brackets. So these secure the brake lines, and hose keeps them out of the way of the wheels. And then here I'm just undoing the 2 bolts of the pivot shaft. That's the actual pivot the whole arm swings on when the suspension moves up and down. But we'll see that going on a bit later in this video. Next up, I'm greasing the high-low adjustable trumpets. I'm just greasing the threads so the adjuster can be wound in and out easily later on when you set the ride height. Without the grease, they can seize solid once they've had a bit of road grime and corrosion on them. So then I'm moving on to the back plate. This is basically the backbone of the rear drum brakes. So everything mounts to it. At the top goes the wheel cylinder. And when you press the brake pedal, hydraulic pressure forces the pistons in the wheel cylinder outwards. Those pistons push on the brake shoes, which are curved friction pads sitting against the back plate. As the shoes get pushed out, they press against the inside of the brake drum, which is bolted to the wheel. And that friction is what slows the wheels down. Springs on the back plate pull the shoes back in when you let go of the pedals so they don't drag on the drum. Very difficult to understand that unless you see a diagram or actually in person. I mean, I didn't really understand it until I was sort of taught through it later on in the day. But the back plate doesn't just hold parts in place, it also gives the shoes something solid to react against when they're forced outwards. So important part of the braking system. So these back plates have been powder coated, which actually can raise the surface a few mil, which means that it doesn't actually fit onto the radius arm. So next job was just filing down very quickly the paint that's on the inside there. And then here just bolting the back plate onto the radius arm itself, which is a fiddly job actually. So some of the bolts are in quite tight places. And now moving on to the rear subframe. Because the subframe's been powder coated, the coating gets into some of the bolt holes. So I'm just running a thread chaser through them to clear it out. That way the bolts go in smoothly without damaging the threads. So here I'm fitting the brackets that attach the subframe to the shell of the car. The holes didn't line up properly, so I had to open them up slightly with a file again to get everything to sit right. This kind of thing is pretty common with Minis, just kind of tolerances and stuff. Even though this is a new subframe, sometimes things just don't line up like you want them to. And here another example of things not lining up like you want them to. So we're just lowering the shell onto the rear subframe here. A little bit fiddly getting the kind of brackets in, but you just kind of have to squeeze it in and wiggle everything around, and eventually you can bolt it into the shell. Starting to look like a car.
So you've got bolts in here, straight into the body, and then
Going up here into the boot floor as well.
and the same on the other side.
All right, back here for day 2 at Paul's. I believe we're doing some stuff with the pedal box today and then various other bits. So looking forward to it. She's looking so good. I'm absolutely buzzing. State of it. With the radius arm all built up, the next job is getting it into the subframe. This bit was super fiddly. I had to line everything up. Some of the bolts were a little bit off, so it's just a bit of a sort of wiggle job. Once you've got it in place and bolted up, the arm can pivot smoothly like it should. Then next, I'm fitting the suspension cone. This sits up inside the subframe and presses down onto the high-low adjuster and knuckle joint we greased earlier. Together, that's what carries the weight of the car and lets the suspension move as the radius arm goes up and down. So this is an adjustable bracket. So they can change the, what is this? So you can change the tracking and the camber by adjusting this up and down, or backwards and forwards. So putting this adjustable one on. And then here, just fitting the last part of the brake lines on the other side that connects to the copper line that had already been fitted that comes down from the master cylinder at the front of the car. Next up is the rear hub. This bolts onto the stub axle on the radius arm, and it's what the brake drum and wheel attached to. Inside the hub is a bearing that lets the wheel spin freely around the stationary stub axle. Before fitting it, I'm packing it with bearing grease. That grease keeps everything running smoothly and stops the bearing from overheating or wearing out. You want to work the grease right into the rollers, not just smear it on the surface, so the whole bearing is properly lubricated. With the bearing packed and the hub ready, it slides onto the stub axle on the radius arm. Then the big hub nut goes on. This has to be torqued to the correct setting. Too loose and the bearing will wear, or even fail. Too tight and you'll crush it. Once it's torqued, the nut is secured with a split pin through the castellated nut. That pin is what stops the nut from ever working loose, so it's a really simple but crucial safety step. Next up was rebuilding the ball joints on the swivel hub. Once the nut comes off, you can see the shims inside, which you can't actually see very well in this video because it's too quick. These little spaces are used to set the preload on the ball joint, so there's no play, but it still moves freely. We added and removed shims until it felt just right. With that done, the nut goes back on and the lip on the collar is hammered over to lock it in place so it can't ever work loose. With the hub ready to go together, the next job is greasing the bearings. The front hub uses 2 taper roller bearings, one inner and one outer. Both need to be packed with grease before they go in. That grease is what keeps them cool and running smoothly. As with the rear hubs, I'm working it right into the rollers, not just on the surface, so they're fully protected once the hub's assembled. If you skip this step, the bearings would overheat and fail very quickly. That was all I had time for on the second day. I didn't get time to put this hub onto the car itself, but I did get time to get Paul to take us through everything that's been done so far.
Right, so this is the new conversion subframe that we've been building, 3-cylinder IGO engine that's installed. Over the last 2 days, we've installed the steering rack, obviously chased all the threads out on the car, installed the front subframe, run the fuel lines, the brake lines. Obviously they need to be in first before you can fit the subframes. Then we've built up all the suspension. It runs standard mini suspension on the front. That's all been refurbished, new pins and bushes, shot blasted and painted. Subframes are made in-house. They're the same, fabricated, shot blasted, powder coated. Everything's on a solid mount. We find it better. And then moving sort of to the rear of the car. So on the rear of the car, we've got the new race subframe that we've installed. We've got the CAD arm, the adjustable kits we've put on the ends as well, the high-lows. Everything's either refurbished or new. The flexes, all the brake pipes have been made, they're new bearings. Everything's been shot blasted and powder coated. And then underside, we've made all new brake pipes. There's a bias valve that goes in there that we're waiting for, but we've used a mock-up one so we can get the brake pipes correct in length and fitment. We're yet to fit the flow and return fuel lines under the side, front to rear of the car. We've got the main brake line that's running, front to rear. And we like to use P-clips on these to pin this to the body rather than the tags that you bend. That's just for our preference, really.
Just on the way back from Paul's now. Yes, a couple of days there. really good to just like get properly involved and actually do it myself, because I found it is interesting. I can ask so many questions. Obviously, it's the best way to learn. But I also find with any kind of car stuff, the mechanics of it is so difficult to visualize and understand when you're just talking about it. Actually, when you see the pieces that they're talking about and how everything all interacts with each other, it's like that's when you can really start to grasp it and actually start to remember all of this stuff. Because half the time I read about this stuff online or watch videos and I just can't remember it, but my memory is shocking. So yeah, great couple of days. I will be ordering a load of new stuff soon, so I've got ordered, like from my side I have to order wheels, brakes, seats, windows, various bits, which is quite exciting. And then Paul has to order a massive list of stuff because we're really getting into it now. So yeah, the timelines now are looking at, apparently it should be running in November. The engine is finished. Steve at Sprint Engines sent me a load of photos which we'll put on screen now. So yeah, the engine is totally done. Ported heads, new rods, new pistons, a new flywheel as well, and then it's obviously got the turbo on there as well, but not in these pictures. But so Paul's going to be collecting that in the next few days, I think, and that'll be brought over. So next time I go up, I'll probably be putting on wheels, brakes, we'll be mounting the engine, and I think maybe by then we'll have the carbon fibre roof will be on, potentially the parcel shelf and the boot floor. I also need to order a fuel tank. So lots happening, but November he reckons they'll have it running, which is just ridiculously exciting. I mean, I'm thinking about it every day, so pretty good. Thank you very much for watching again. Please do like and subscribe because it does make a difference, and I will see you in the next video. But lots of exciting plans for next year, road trips, track days, all sorts of stuff, so stay tuned. Thank you.